if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Now we know that the vaccines work well enough that the virus stops with every vaccinated person.
Very fine people on both sides. You mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax?
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by go. You know the thing.
It's a lie on a news network, and it's a lie that's a lie that they're conscious of.
Evening viewers, and welcome to Thursday's edition of Grumpy Old Men. It's me, Pinky, and Grumpy. Yeah, welcome to the show. Tuesday night was a bit heavy, so today we're going to have a bit of fun. We've got some pretty cool stuff on the agenda for tonight, some funny stuff and some conspiracies stuff.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Conspiracies, yeah.
And we missed out on a few movies the other day, so we're gonna touch on a couple of movies tonight. So make sure you stay with us.
That's assuming we don't get carried away.
Well, we did get a bit carried. We planned to talk about movies last time, but we got a bit carried away. Yeah. So hopefully this time we'll.
It was a pretty important subject last time about censorship. So
it was definitely.
If you had a chance to go back to that episode,
definitely one of our good episodes. Yeah.
All right. So what are we talking about? The Baltimore Bridge.
Yeah.
Now that happened. Probably about 3 weeks ago, a month ago?
Yeah, 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah. I personally held off a bit because I'm going to try and get as much information in there.
Yeah.
Because the posts went crazy within hours.
Yeah.
I mean, aliens were attacking and we had, sea monsters and all sorts of shit. Well, not quite that far, but you know what I mean.
Speaking of aliens and all the craziness, a couple of days ago, weren't we supposed to have all died? Wasn't the world supposed to end?
I missed that one, sorry.
Yeah, the 8th.
Oh, really?
Which is a couple of days ago now. We're with the solar eclipse.
Wasn't that in America?
Yeah.
Because that's the only place that had the solar eclipse.
If the world explodes, it won't be just America. But there were all these theories that was the end of the world.
We wish.
Did you not hear about that?
Yeah.
But we went down that path years ago with the Mayan calendar, remember?
Yeah. What was that, 2012?
Yeah.
I remember also one, I think it was the late 70s, early 80s. South Australia was supposed to be engulfed in a tsunami.
Oh, really?
And I remember the Prime Minister, they're not the Prime, what are they?
The State Minister.
The State Minister, whatever. He walked out onto the beach in his little shorts and stood there waiting for this tidal wave to come in, which obviously never did.
Yeah, right.
As much as a lot of us would have loved it because it was just Adelaide. Sorry, no, we love you, Adelaide. We love you. Yeah. It's all in jest. And it was hilarious because he was there in his little short shorts, because this is the 70s.
70s, yeah.
Yeah, and it never happened. We were okay, all right. Anyways, Anyway, back to Baltimore.
Yeah. Oh,
I thought
sorry, mate. I thought you were covering this.
Yeah,
one.
I thought you were leading.
Well, we've got a lot of we're touching on conspiracy. So since that incident, I did the same. I held off for a little while to see what sort of information came out about it, and I think a lot of people jumped on the fact that there was an instant dismissal of it being any sort of a government-related conspiracy. It was so instant that a lot of people thought, that sounds like a cover-up. Why would you just... Or, by the way, it wasn't us instantly. So I think that sort of, got people looking, what's going on here? And then people were just, you know what people are like. They're seeing things that aren't there.
Yeah.
Or are they? Are they seeing things that were there?
Yeah, but one of the issues you have is the political climate as well. All of a sudden you see incidents, you kind of go, okay, how does that fit into here?
Yeah.
You start putting pieces together. Sometimes they fit, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
And the conspiracies that came out after this one was just, for me, it was just a bit over the top in some of them. From the footage I saw, I couldn't understand how they would get some of those conspiracies from.
Yeah.
But they did, and Lara Logan, I think it was, she's a pretty prominent US reporter. She did this huge thesis on what had happened and how the whole world was behind this ship. Not quite, I'm just exaggerating, being hyperbolic.
Yeah.
But you get it, all of a sudden, it was all these governments getting involved. I think Ukraine got blamed from it as well.
They got a big shout out,
Yeah. So they seem to be getting around pretty well. I think they must be doing some charity, raising or something.
Yeah. Well,
some more money.
Well, there was a theory that because America decided they weren't going to give any more funding.
Yeah. Or cut it back.
Or cut back their funding. That Ukraine just went, okay, well, if we press this button right here, then we can make that ship go into that bridge. The fact that there were, I believe, was it 2 Ukrainian pilots on there, or
So
captains.
they say, yeah, because originally there wasn't any pilots supposed to be on there. Then I found out days later there were 2 pilots. Then I was told they were Ukrainian.
Yeah.
So I can't keep. I'm not sure why they're Ukrainian, being on a Baltimore bridge, river. What was it? The river, Baltimore River, whatever. I don't know.
So you're kamikaze.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just didn't quite fit the pieces. I didn't quite understand what was going on there.
Yeah.
It kept on changing the news. Shall we look at the footage,
Let's do.
the original footage? Now, shout out to Redacted. We just clipped some of them from their little composite that they did.
Yep.
And we'll get into some of their little views from there a little bit later on. But this is slightly sped up, so we'll play the audio from Redacted as well. And have a look. This is the actual incident, slightly sped up.
On how this all breaks down here. So at about the first reel, we sped it up a little bit here. It's sped up a little bit here. You can see at about the 12-second mark. So this is going to go on for here about 30 seconds. Okay, there's power loss number 1 at about 12 seconds. Okay, then at about 22 seconds, it recovers power. So it comes back on here. And then you see black smoke coming out of the engine, out of the whatchamacallit, the funnel.
The funnel.
And
Sounds
then
like me.
immediate evasive maneuver. The stack, yeah. Then immediate evasive maneuvers take place. Helicopter, images show that in fact one of the anchors was dropped on the port side, and there you have the smash and collapse of the bridge. Now we also know, according to the mayor, that as a result of that.
How quickly did that bridge come down? I
Yeah.
realise it sped up, but still.
I was going to say, it was fast forward.
Yeah, but still, in real time,
Oh, it was quick.
it just came down.
Yeah.
It really just.
That's because it was
gone.
packed with explosives.
Okay, I saw all
There's
those.
lots of theories.
Yeah.
I mean, just the fact that there was a helicopter that had footage as well. Like, why was there a
Oh,
helicopter?
I haven't seen that footage.
Yeah, that was a rumor as well.
Yeah?
There's lots of the rumors are endless. I could write a book.
Maybe you should.
No, it's okay.
We'll be talking about your book in the future.
Yeah, I still don't know what I believe.
Yeah.
Whether it was a conspiracy or who knows. If anyone knows, let us know.
Yeah, leave something in the comments. Tell us your views and what you
give us
actually
your opinion.
think. Yeah.
If there's any other information that we don't pick up on, let us know.
Oh, I'm sure
Point
there's
it out.
plenty
Tell us,
there.
I'm sure.
Plenty there.
Yeah.
Now, some of the things that I heard, like you mentioned, there were explosions on the bridge that set it off. Similar to what they were saying about 9/11, the buildings there, bang, 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 and they came down. That's another kettle of fish to talk about. But I don't know. I mean, if they were trying to do it on purpose, why would they drop the anchor? Because the whole idea of the anchor was to slow it down.
Did they drop the anchor?
Well,
Because there's also a theory. Another theory was that they actually changed course before the power went off.
Oh, okay, because they lost power twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it came back.
But if you
again.
watch that footage when it's moving, it's not changing course because it had already changed course. It had changed course while the power was on, and then the power went off. So, now that could be multiple things. It could be part of the whole system failing and the lights went last.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean that the pilot just decided, we're heading for the pillar, and then turned the power off.
Right.
Who knows?
Let's play it again, but without audio this time, and we'll just have a bit of a chat about it. Now you can see all the cars zooming across. How lucky are those cars? Seriously.
Those ones are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the ship coming in, and as the little diagram says, we've lost power.
But you see the
Is that-
trajectory it's on, it hasn't changed.
Yeah, it's still going straight.
Yeah.
But do they lose steering when that happens?
That's what I'm saying. So there's a theory that it had already changed direction prior, but you can actually see, it's hard to see in two dimensions, but you can actually see it getting shorter.
Yeah.
Right. So it's obviously changing its projection. So I don't believe that it changed its trajectory before
On
the power
purpose?
went off. No, before the power went off. I
Okay.
don't believe it changed trajectory before
okay.
then. I think it's changing now after the first power out.
Okay.
But that's my theory.
Let's go back slightly. I just want to check something here. Just here. Let's watch this again. Is there any smoke coming out of its funnel or stack, as they say it? See, there's no smoke at all.
Yep. Not at the start.
Yeah, that's right. There's none there.
Mm-hmm.
and we've lost power. Now,
Power's back on.
and now we get the smoke.
Yeah.
So do you think something exploded?
Possibly. I mean, it could all be to do with electrical,
Yeah.
you know. That's a lot of smoke, though, when you look at
Well,
it.
that's
'Cause
right.
It's still going.
Yeah.
So I think it was like maybe a small fire, electrical fire or something like that relates to the power going out.
Yeah. Then we get the restore of
Well,
power.
look how big that cloud of smoke is.
I don't know, but it's very instant. It happens very quickly and just comes piling out. Let's go back slightly here.
Well, I don't know what sort of time speed this is run at, but
Well, they just said slightly faster. So.
yeah.
Okay, so we've got power here. We've got the thick smoke coming out. We're about to lose power again. See, it's a really sharp turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's heading straight for the pillar. Power's back on, and bang. And that's where it all comes down.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back
Yeah.
slightly there. What do we got? We've got cars there. Let's have a look at those ones. Oh, look at that. That's a lucky one. And, oh, here comes one. Oh, that's another lucky one. And no more cars. And it's just
They managed to.
so it's just the workers there
Yeah.
that came down.
I think I'm not sure if there was one or two cars in there. Someone might know, but I believe they managed to stop most of the traffic in time from the Mayday.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they had a few seconds to stop traffic. So it might have been the last of the cars that were already on the bridge that might not have quite made it, but they stopped any more traffic.
Well, it didn't look like there was any more moving traffic there. Only the workers, and there were 6 workers that went missing.
I think it was 6.
And,
yeah.
and they've only found 3 of them so far.
Yep.
Yeah, I believe. So yeah, condolences to the family.
Yeah,
It's horrible,
absolutely. Yeah.
horrible situation to be in. Of course. So from then on, we've got some piece of footage on the boat.
Yep.
Is it a boat or a ship? It's a
Ship.
boat. Ship. It's a ship.
It's a ship.
Okay, we'll call it a ship. All right, and this is some of the damage from the inside. Look at that. That's a lot of bridge on there.
Yeah.
But they should be able to clean it up fairly quickly.
Oh, well, yeah, clean up, yes.
Yeah.
Rebuild, I don't know. They're
Yeah.
saying, what are they saying, 10 years?
Well, I've heard 10 years. I've also heard May, which is
To rebuild the bridge?
to get
Really?
to get traffic across the bridge again. So I don't know if it's temporary or what the story is, but yeah, as quickly as May. So that's
Yeah, right.
that's 2 months away. You know,
Well,
as
maybe
soon
if we
as
get
then-
if they get China to come and Belt and Road Initiative, they might be able to knock it out in a couple of weeks.
Maybe IKEA have got a flat pack or something. They can assemble it themselves.
Yeah.
All you need is a hex key. That's it. Just the hex key is like 3 meters wide. But yeah, so
I'm surprised they haven't blamed Trump.
I'm sure they will. It'll eventually come out there. Well,
Trump supporters. Yeah.
Lara Logan got into the fact that this was all government backed, and the fact there was a huge conspiracy behind it to actually attack the infrastructure of America, because that was the only bridge that allowed dangerous goods across it, like chemicals and that type of thing. So with that gone, a lot of the infrastructure. Did I get that right?
No, but it's okay. We're
Yeah.
done.
And that comes down. That causes a lot of issues, for the transport, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
So the big conspiracy is they're targeting these areas to cripple, various areas. So let's have another look at a video, again from Redacted. This time, another conspiracy that they were talking about was the explosions. Now, you know a bit about this. You've read about this.
Oh, all I've
Yeah.
seen is what we've seen on the internet. There were 3 timed explosions just prior to the ship hitting the bridge, is the theory.
Yeah.
That helped the bridge to collapse. So, yeah.
Because it really has the same type of momentum, I guess, for lack of a better word, like the Twin Towers. Because they were on fire. The plane had crashed into the building. They were on fire for a while. Then all of a sudden, just went bang. Collapsed like a pancake, in fact. Lay on a floor level on top of each other. Just came down.
Yeah.
Plus, was it Tower 7 as well that collapsed? That had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
But that's,
randomly.
like I said, that's another discussion for another time. So, and this is the same thing with this bridge, because he hit the pillar. Okay, we'll blame him. the ship hit the pillar, and then the whole bridge just came down.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at that footage and basically what they're talking about, these explosions
at these locations. So I've highlighted here in white where you're noticing the bridge. Now I've slowed it down a little bit here. Here's the first collision, and you'll notice an explosion. Then here you notice another one, and here another one. Watch this again. So here we go again. I'm going to replay the second time for you. So on the left side here, first collapse, and could this be some sort of, why would there be an explosion? A transformer blowing? Or is it something worse? And in this piece as well with an explosion. What is that? President Biden says nothing.
For me, two of those explosions happened after the bridge started moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking just power lines, actually. Power,
Yeah.
dust, dirt, whatever.
I feel like that too.
Yeah.
That, particularly the third one. The third one's the most obvious of the three. But to me, the bridge was already on its way down.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of electrical cables running across the bridge. So it's bound to be something that's, you can't just pull a bunch of electrical cables apart and expect no reaction.
Oh, correct.
So,
I think that's where you're getting your sparks from and so forth.
Yeah. So, but look, that's no discredit to Redacted, by the way. They've fantastic channel. They got some fantastic content.
Yeah,
so I'm not saying that they've said anything wrong. It's just just theories.
They're doing exactly what we're doing. We're
just
analysing
and trying to come up with a theory.
And I'll just try and kind of step through this, see if I can do it. Yeah. See, he's already circled it, and you can see the separation already.
Yeah.
So whatever explosion happened didn't do anything.
I still struggle to see the first one. To actually see it. Like I see like a cloud of smoke.
Okay.
It kind of lines up with one of the buildings. That's maybe about a fifth of the way in from the left side of the screen.
Okay, we'll go back to that. Just give me a second.
That's the one I want to look at.
Here we go now. Now there's the spark now, and you can see the bridge totally pulled away.
Yeah.
So I don't think that has any weight behind it. That theory. So let's go back to. All right, this is the first one. Oh, have they already mentioned it? Yeah, I think they have. Thank you very much, Redacted, by the way.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
I'm just clicking through this, because we don't have a frame by frame on YouTube. Oh, here we go. All right, so there's no separation there.
Right, it hasn't hit yet.
It's actually not easy clicking through it.
No.
Oh, there we go. Now it's moving.
Now, obviously, has the ship hit the bridge yet, or is the bridge now collapsing because of whatever the explosion is? It's hard to tell from this footage whether the ship's actually made contact yet, or whether the explosion is. See, that's the thing. We're taking for granted that the third one is irrelevant because it happened after the other two, but we don't know what caused the other two, and we don't even know if the ship had actually made contact by the timing of that third one. To be honest, because not from this view.
Sure.
You'd need
I get what you're saying. Well, let's step through this, and there we go. There's
that tiny little white spot beside
that one there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying is the first explosion.
But is that a bridge light? Because
I wonder whether it's the reflection of the light of the building in the distance bouncing off the bridge or something like that. It's hard to say, isn't it?
For me, was it flashing at all before?
I don't know, because the bridge was in the way.
Okay.
See now, look how big it is now.
Yeah.
And it feels like a big burst of light, that first one. But then as the bridge comes down, you'll notice that it's a building.
Right. Okay.
So if you go forward, see the building behind?
That one there?
Yeah. So obviously the building's not as bright as that explosion was, but whether it's the light reflecting off the bridge or was an explosion, and as I was saying before, is at this very point in the video, has the ship actually made contact with the bridge yet, or is it just about to in the next second or so?
Okay,
which we can't tell from here.
We can actually just go back a couple frames. We'll try to.
Sorry if we're over analysing this, but we really want to. It would be nice to.
We're trying to have a bit of fun with this video as well.
Really trying
so let's just focus on the bridge, on the ship.
Yep.
Okay. So. Okay, it looks like it's it's kind of bouncing off just there.
Okay.
There you go. See, just there.
Right. Okay.
You got that contact point. Yeah, it struck there.
Okay.
By the looks of it.
The mystery is solved.
That's it. No more news reports. We've done the job for you.
Yep.
Okay, so you have that contact there, and then literally seconds later,
Yeah.
that comes down. So yeah, it's hit right there.
All right. So in my view, we could probably rule that conspiracy out.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean the government didn't do it.
You just got to hang on, don't you?
Well, that's, yeah.
Those little claws on the edge of the cliff.
Yeah, totally. Well, we don't like them.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
You should blame them for everything.
Yeah.
Which government, though?
Oh, isn't there one world government?
Well, yeah, that's true.
It's called the
That's
WIF.
true.
The WIF.
It was probably the World Economic Forum.
Yeah. You reckon?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll throw them under the bus for anything. Scum of the earth.
Yeah, I tripped over the other day and I blamed WEF for that.
I'm going to start doing that from now on. Yeah, if I'm not performing in the bedroom, it's the WEF.
God, I backed into the WEF. How dare you?
My car won't start. Bloody WEF.
Bloody WEF, yeah. Okay, all right. So that was the first. That was one of the first ones I saw. Apart from Lara Logan's post that she did, and she did that really quickly. This was probably one of the first videos, not particularly from Redacted themselves. I saw somebody else analyse it. Yeah.
Yep.
And it was, like I said, it was probably one of the first ones I saw with the explosions. And then we've got this little article from the, what is it? I don't even know where it's from. But anyway, we'll give it credit in just a sec. These are the top 5 reasons that the Baltimore bridge destruction was likely an inside job rather than an accidental crash or cyber attack. Do you want to have a read of that one? Can you see that far?
Oh,
because I can't.
I'm so old. I got no chance of it. I'll give it a crack. Mainstream media immediately worked in tandem to call it an accident across all fake new media, including internet, print, radio, and television news.
Do you think they were just being cautious? Not that they're ever cautious, because when it comes to a lot of things, they just make up shit.
Well, it was fast. And that's the thing, is when these things are fast, it usually implies there's something to hide. It's like, there's nothing to see here.
Sometimes they've already been given a narrative.
Yeah, they've got the narrative already. So it's hard to know. But if they whether they mean to or not, they give people the feeling that they're hiding something.
Yeah, okay, all right.
It's like, being a kid and, you've stolen a chocolate bar out of the cupboard, you go, if you see a chocolate bar missing, it wasn't me. You know what I mean? It's the same sort of...
that was me during Easter.
Yeah.
My 8-year-old boy seems to have less chocolates this year.
Oh, you're horrible.
Mind you, they were very tasty. Oh, come on, they were very expensive this year. I'm not going to give it all to him.
I know, yeah.
All right, number 2.
The bridge destruction cripples the supply of gasoline-powered vehicles for years.
Yes, we just covered that, didn't we?
I haven't read this yet, and that's a surprise. Fueling the
communist.
Oh yes, I can barely read it. Fueling the communist installation of government-controlled electric vehicles for the fake climate change agenda. Pretty strong words. Yeah, I don't know about that one, because it's going to be that bridge will be rebuilt before we're all electric. So I feel that one's irrelevant.
I think it'll be built pretty quickly, because that's a primary bridge around that area. They need it. So.
Yeah, it's a critical bridge.
Yeah. All right.
The port was a major thoroughfare for fuels that keep the US economy functional, which the Biden regime wants to cripple for more control of the population.
But this must be a right-leaning...
I was going to say, it feels pretty right.
Yeah, they call it Biden regime. So
I should tell you straight away.
Yeah. We'll give credit for this article in just a sec, because we've just got these 5 points lined up.
Yeah.
Okay, and number 4?
There's a huge hit to US infrastructure, just like burning down food production facilities, fertiliser plants and other resource structures needed to feed the populace.
Now, that's what Lara Logan was talking about. Really getting it. Because for the last couple of years, every time there's like a wheat manufacturing plant that's been burnt down in an accident, they keep on talking about the infrastructure. As well as, for a while last year, there was a whole bunch of meat processing plants that were burning down.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, well,
wouldn't it be easy just to give it a cyber attack?
the ship or just
well, no, the
any of those
infrastructure.
things?
Yeah, the
Look,
infrastructure.
until with the Internet of Things,
Yeah.
which we slightly tapped on in our
Yeah.
last episode, then it might be a bit easier.
Mm.
I know some of this stuff is probably still not reachable by them. Depends
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
In the words of Pink Floyd, this is just another brick in the wall. Sorry. For cementing the communist overthrow of the Republic. Oh, it sounds very Star Wars.
Yeah.
So expect many more bridges and tunnels to be accidentally destroyed by the Biden regime soon. Coming to a
Right.
town near you.
So, who's the magazine? What is the magazine?
Wow, that's a heavy hitter.
I can't see. Is it Thai NBC? Is that it?
I'm not sure.
Is that them there?
Don't know.
Oh,
Whoever you are, we'd love to give you credit. Just
Yeah.
reach out to us.
Oh,
in the
it must
comments.
be because there's the title there in the IP address. There you go. But you can go and visit them through booking.com. Go give them a visit, but don't go via Baltimore, all right?
No.
Okay, so, yeah, well, I don't know. How serious can you take them?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You could start blaming everything if you're going to go down that
Well,
path.
correct.
I don't know. Just to me, it feels like an accident.
Yeah.
But that's my opinion.
Yeah. And there was a whole bunch of people that, like I mentioned earlier, would blame it on the Ukraine. You know, they're trying to get to us because they're retaliating because we didn't give them any more money.
Maybe it was Russia because the two pilots were Ukrainian.
Oh, why not? Why not? I mean, apparently they blew their own pipeline up.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So I don't know. I don't know how we're going to keep up with all the different news, all the different stories that come out. But that's
Yeah.
the fun thing about the internet, isn't it?
Yeah. Look, I think the internet's an important thing in our lives. I think it's an important thing in everyone's lives, and social media is as well, particularly. But I feel like this is the next generation's smoking, right? We look back at generations before us where there were news articles about how good it was for you to smoke. It was great for kids to be smoking. There was all that sort of stuff. We were talking half a century ago, and now we look at it and nobody smokes, or hardly anyone. And it's really frowned upon, and you can smell when someone's smoking from 10 meters away, and there's that
Not
that
allowed to
instant,
smoke inside anymore.
Yeah, there's that
Yeah.
instant. Oh, who's doing that? I'm dying. So this generation are really anti that, and I feel like in a couple of generations from now, it's going to be the same for all this social media stuff. I feel like all these social media platforms, they're convoluted and controlled to a certain degree. Some maybe not so much. Like we're looking at X at the moment, all the things that's going through X at the moment with Musk, as we discussed a couple of days ago. But I feel like there's so much information, misinformation, disinformation, all bundled into one. And I feel like the people that are watching all this now going, they're getting sucked into the sensationalised view of everything. I feel like a couple of generations from now, there'll be people sitting there going, gee, they were idiots, weren't they? What were they thinking? How did they fall for all that crap? I feel like it'll eventually get to a point where it's so saturated that future generations will think we were stupid for even watching this stuff.
Oh, look, I totally agree. Gen X are the most conservative generation that we've had in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
So they're going to look at things a bit more clearer than what we're getting from some of the other areas, some of the other factions. They're a bit more reserved. They tend to hold back a bit and before they jump on anything. Well, we've seen things like recently with Trump and the comments that he's been taken out of context, which is what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
We've seen that, and the left jump on it without even looking at it. I mean, it's a 7-second clip. You have to ask what's going on here. It's only 7 seconds. What's the rest of it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the conservatives will jump on and go, "Where's the rest of it?"
Yeah.
And the left are just happy because that's all they need.
That's
to
the bit
know.
they needed.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. That's the same with deep fakes and things like that, the way all that's going at the moment. I think that's even more reason why social media won't be a thing in a few years' time. Probably not a couple of years' time, but maybe in a decade. It'll get to a point where social media is not the key to anything anymore. I think that you look at Gen Z and Gen Alpha now, and they're still very involved in YouTube and that sort of stuff, but they're not getting their news from there.
Well, it's TikTok. That's where they're getting most of their news.
Yeah,
now.
but I feel like they're not focused
Yeah.
on news at all. Like we sort of got caught up in the whole there's news to be absorbed, And we don't always rely on YouTube because we know from experience that YouTube is either late to the party or it's
been
controlled.
censored.
It's been very
Yeah.
censored.
Yeah.
So what we're seeing on YouTube might not necessarily be correct, or it might be late, and what have you. So there are other sources, plenty of other sources to gather news from. But I feel like, social media is probably not going to be used for that in the future. I feel like it'll just literally be social without the media, if that makes sense.
Well, I hope you're right, but social media, a lot of it's being used to actually be able to contact, our families.
Correct.
What do you think is going to replace that?
I don't know. I think Facebook's going to be here for a long, long time. But I feel like Facebook's probably a really good example. So you look at Facebook and how much that's censored, and how much, you're always reading articles of someone who's been put in Facebook jail for some post. So it's quite heavily censored whether you see it or not. And I think that relying on those sources for news, I think that's the reason that they won't be relied on for news in the future, is because the news can't be trusted. So it'll go back to being what it started out as just a way to stay in contact with friends and family. And I think a lot of these social medias will be that way. You look at YouTube and the amount of news, like you look at the massive shift at the moment from mainstream media to alternative media, and most of that's on things like Rumble, YouTube. I'm sure there's other platforms.
The problem you have when you have things like for instance, the Conservatives are being censored on YouTube, so they move to Rumble, but that then creates a vacuum chamber. Because everyone on Rumble is conservative because they haven't been able to speak their voices. That includes, Truth Social.
Truth Social is another great example.
Which is what, $9 billion at the moment or something.
Yeah.
And and you end up in this echo chamber, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
That's never going to be a good thing.
So I feel like those sort of platforms like X and Truth Social will probably end up being I don't know if I'd say reliable, but I guess it'll be a sense of reliability to some of that information because of free speech. But I feel like things like YouTube, it won't be the way in the future. It'll literally just be documentaries and videos of, walking through the forest and isn't it beautiful. I think all the actual news side of it that people are longing for will disappear over the next few years. I really do, because mainstream media has moved to the social media pocket, and I feel like that will eventually move away as well.
Yeah.
Because you can't trust. The thing is, you've got to understand, people older than us, so boomers and what have you, they still trust the news because in their day you could.
Correct, because all we did was when we watched the news, we were given the news. That was it.
Correct.
There was no never agenda. Opinion. There was an opinion.
Yeah, there was no agenda.
Yeah,
you didn't get the message, right?
Even there's always been propaganda. It's been to a minimal, and when they did do it, it was so obvious.
Yeah.
But now it's just everywhere.
Now it feels like social media is going to head in that direction because there's so much fake news. And then when deep fakes really kick off, which they're starting to already, but when they've
been around for a little while.
Oh, they have, but they're not. You can still usually tell when something's a deep fake, quite often. But when that really takes off and you can't distinguish the truth anymore, social media will be useless because why would you get your news from a source when you don't know if it's real, or you don't know if it's true, or it's fact checked by people that have an agenda? No one's going to pay attention to that sort of stuff anymore. It's just going to that's probably rubbish. That's going to be the first reaction every time they see a news article. It's probably rubbish. Well, look at what we're discussing now with the bridge. Yeah. You got people on both sides going, "Oh, it's purely an accident." Other people go, "No, the government were behind this." Then there's someone else that splits off into its own factions where people go, "It was Biden. It was Trump. It was Putin. It was Jacinta.
Zelensky.
It was the Australian
Kardashians.
government.
I reckon it was the Kardashians.
Yeah, this is all because of Elon Musk and the Australian government. It's like, where do you draw the line? So it'll get to a point where, particularly the next generations coming up, are going to look at that and go, "You're not getting your news from there, are you?" And then it'll just that side of social media will just die off.
But remember when YouTube first started? It was the Wild West. Everybody was doing anything on YouTube, and it was exciting because before YouTube started bringing all their terms and conditions, and there are a lot of them, they've recently just added the AI stuff on there as well. Part of uploading a video, they'd actually ask you, are these real people? Are these altered, events? And did you change the imagery and things like that? So there's like 3 or 4 questions they'd ask.
Yeah.
But you're never going to get away from it because people need to consume that information. We sit around. I spend a lot of time on social media. So do you. I mean, we watch a lot of videos. We watch a lot of posts on X and so forth, because I don't want to be ignorant anymore. Before lockdowns, I was your typical bloke. All I cared was about feeding my family, feeding myself as well. All those type of things, paying my bills, and I just plodded along. And whatever I heard on the news, I went, okay, all right, Trump's an idiot, because that's the information. And Obama, he's the new Jesus walking, the black Jesus, whatever. Turns out he's behind all the bad things that are happening.
Yeah.
And I believed all that. I was a big fan of Obama, and I hated Trump. But then when you start consuming the information, you start learning a lot of things, good and bad. But I think it needs to be there, and I think it's always going to be there. It's not going to go away,
There'll always be news out there. I just don't think it'll be on social media platforms like it is now. That's all. I feel like it's just going to... If you can't trust it, why would you watch it? When it comes to news, I'm talking about.
But
that's
I'm
I'm trying to think who made sorry, I'm trying to think who made the statement a while ago to a reporter that was interviewing them. I'm trying to think who it was. Anyway, he made the comment that if you're not watching the news, you're uninformed. If you are watching the news, you're misinformed.
Oh yes, I've seen that.
So, what's the solution? There isn't one. And when people don't know what's true and what isn't true, what's a conspiracy, what's real, they're kind of a bit lost, and they're not going to rely on those sources.
I've got a question for you. Twitter.
Yep.
That was a cesspool of misinformation and control of speech. But Elon Musk took over, changed it to X, made a few changes. Do you think it's worse or better?
I think it's better in the manner of free speech, but the question you've got to really ask, does Electric Jesus have an agenda? Are the principles that he's portraying and the methods that he's using to portray them, do they link back to shareholders and other people's interests?
Look, he doesn't have shareholders to start with.
Well, okay.
He owns it outright.
There are other people that are here he's involved with that may have an agenda.
They gave him some money, and they backed him with some Saudi Arabian guy or something. But it is a better platform than it was. So why can't you apply those same situations with your other platforms? There's going to be a time where it gets, like we mentioned earlier, pendulum swings. Was it this episode or previous episode?
Last episode.
Last episode. We were talking about the pendulum swinging.
Yeah.
So that means it's going to get to a point that, okay, the pendulum swings to the other side, then all these people are going to realise, okay, we're not making money out of this anymore. So they start changing their views. Because the media, MSM, mainstream media, became who they are now because of Trump. And if it wasn't for Trump, they wouldn't be so far on the left that they are now.
Yeah,
Would you agree with that? Or?
I don't know. I don't think Trump's the reason that they're so far on the left. I think they're just so far on the left because the opportunities are there for them to be that way. But that's...
Yeah, but they didn't really take sides as prominently as they did.
I don't feel like Trump's the reason for that. I feel like there are other agendas. You've got George Soros, you've got Bill Gates, you've got a string of other players in the background that are orchestrating all of that sort of stuff. I don't think that it's... I don't think it pushed it to the left because they were anti-Trump. I feel like they were dragged to the left by people that were involved in the background. So that's my view on social media and being... Oh, sorry, not social media, but mainstream media and being so left.
So do you think he's a symptom?
Yeah, possibly. I think it's more that he... I don't know. When you look back through Trump's history, back in the 80s and 90s, he said he would never run for... he didn't say he'd never run for president. He said he didn't think he would ever run for president. He was not on his agenda.
Yeah. I also saw a quote where he says that if it gets bad, he would.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, mid-90s he was saying that.
Yeah.
Took him 15 years before he did.
But if you don't take that out of context and you watch those actual interviews, he's actually very well... at the time, he was very well up to speed with whatever was happening in the political circles at the time. That's why he was having those conversations. They didn't just pick some rich billionaire business owner and go, "Oh, what are your political views?" He actually had political views. So, I don't feel like he's the reason that the media's gone so left. I feel like there are other factors in the background that have caused all of that, and then he's someone who's trying to stand up against that. That's what.
Because I didn't see that. Not that I was paying that much attention to it in those days, but I hadn't seen such division, not only amongst the people but amongst the media that I have with Biden and Trump. That as soon as Trump came down those escalators, it was kick into Trump.
I think that's because he offered an alternative that they didn't want to see. You know, I feel like particularly the left side, right, the Democratic side, they've got an agenda, and it doesn't matter how many presidents in a row it takes to get to where they want to be. And I feel like Trump was in opposition to that. Because don't forget, Trump's background is not politics.
That's right. He is a businessman. Yeah.
If it had been anybody else taking the same stand, it would have got the same reaction. I don't think it's specifically because it's Trump. I think it's because he appeared to be against the establishment.
Yeah. Don Jr. said recently in an interview that everyone used to love Trump. He was always invited to parties. When Don went there, he was the star attraction. Everyone wanted to talk to him. As soon as he ran for president, it all changed. There were no more invitations. The division happened. The attacks started. Before Trump ran for president, they were in his back pocket. They loved him. They wanted to do business with him. As soon as he's president, all of a sudden, it's just non-stop harassment. Attacking the family, attacking him, and now attacking his businesses as well. Where did that division come from? To me, that division has to have come from the media.
I agree. Yeah. It was manufactured by the media.
Correct, absolutely. But why? I think it's simply because Trump was the outsider, and he was coming in to upset the grand plan that they've been planning for.
Drain the swamp.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, he didn't do it in his first term because he hired a whole bunch of people and they were wrong people.
It's going to be interesting to see if he does get into power. It'll be interesting to see whether he can do it in 4 years, because if he'd have had 2 terms back to back, I think he could have achieved a lot.
You think? I think he needed that breakthrough for him to become the person that he is now, because he picked some pretty bad people in his administration.
Yeah, there's some pros and cons to that.
Sure, he sacked them in the end, but towards the end, and of course, we had the lockdowns, COVID hit, which caused a lot of issues in everything Trump was running for. But I kind of think that he needed that gap in between and to show the people that he was doing a great job.
Well, as they say, sometimes you need to be knocked down once or twice so you know which way you're facing when you stand up. And I think that's very on the money with Trump. I totally understand your point. I just feel like 4 years with all the hoops that you have to jump through to make anything happen.
Probably 3 years, because the last year was COVID.
Yeah, but I'm saying with the 4 coming up, if he gets in,
okay.
I feel like he'll achieve some stuff because he'll be motivated, very motivated. But I don't think he'll ever achieve as much as he would have if he had 8 consecutive years. You look at Obama, 8 years in power and what he was able to do in the background behind everybody's back.
Yeah. He's still going. What are you talking about?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. But that's another thing as well, is what happens at the end of that 4 years. Does Trump, now that he's no longer the president, is he no longer a politician? Is that his nature? Do you think he'll just go, oh, well, that was fun, I'm going to go build some more...
Well, he could have done that after the first term.
Yeah.
He could have just retired and played golf, but he came back because he still had a job to finish, he said. Yeah. He wants to continue with it.
But once he's in a position to not be president anymore, do you think he'll find a role within politics like other presidents have done, where he'll push some other agendas in the background, or do you think he'll just walk away and go, oh, I gave it my best shot?
Yeah, no, I kind of think he'll stick around.
You reckon?
Yeah, because the Republican Party's no longer Republican, they're MAGA. And that's very obvious how much that's changed.
Yeah.
And simply because he's just crushing every primary, and he's just right in there. Yeah.
But we digress.
That's all right. No, that's good. But anyway, talking about bumbling Biden.
Yeah.
Just get back to this Baltimore disaster.
Yep.
Of course, Biden has to come out and do his little speech, and show his crocodile tears like he cares about anybody other than himself and enriching his family. So he came out, when was it? Was it? Well, I've got here on my post April the 6th, but I think he came out earlier.
I think it was about a week after. Wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay, let's just play the little video of his empathetic attitude.
Well, to all the families and loved ones who are grieving, I've come here to grieve with you. We all are. It's not the same, but I know a little bit about what it's like to lose a piece of your soul, to get that phone call in the middle of the night to say family members are gone. I've been there. It's feeling like having a black hole in your chest, like you're being sucked in, unable to breathe. The anger, the pain, the depth of the loss is so profound. And we know it's hard to believe, and you're probably not going to believe me, but I can tell you now from personal experience, the day is going to come when the memory of your loved one as you walk by that park or the church or something that you shared together is going to bring a smile to your lips before it brings a tear to your eye. It's going to happen. It's going to take a while, but I promise you it will happen. And that's when you know you're going to be able to make it.
Yeah, he never stops, does he? He always has to bring his family into it. Like, I think it's just his little ploy to connect.
Yeah.
Like he understands.
He doesn't have too many other ways, does he?
Yeah.
I don't think that would be too bad of a speech if it came from somebody else. I think the reason that makes it a bad speech is because it's the same card that he always plays. 8 seconds in, and it had to be about him.
Yeah, correct.
You
He
know,
does it all the
people
time.
are grieving.
Yeah.
These people are grieving. These people are, even if they didn't have people directly involved in the accident, it's their town, and they're grieving in their own way. And the last thing you want to do is make it about yourself. And he couldn't wait more than 8 seconds.
Yeah. But like I said, he does it all the time. He always brings in his family, the loss of his wife, and it's a tragic event. Lost his wife and was it daughter or something, or another son? Another son. And in a car accident, if I remember rightly. Yeah. And it's a horrible situation. But you need to leave that out of politics and stop playing the sympathy card, because he needs to really show the world that he cares about the actual event.
Yeah.
Not bring that in. And you can do that quite easily. You don't have to be, okay, I went through this loss, so I can understand.
Yeah. He's basically saying, well, I went through it and I'm okay, so you'll be okay. It doesn't work like that. That's what I mean. If it's actually, as a speech, it's not a bad speech. It's a way of connecting, but coming from him, it's only a bad speech because it's getting old.
Yeah, correct. I think
every tragedy relates back to him and his family members that have passed away, and it's like,
yeah. I think we're on the same page because he does it all the time.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, if he didn't, it'll be a different type of situation.
That's what I mean,
but it's all the time. All right, well, let's finish up this little segment with a bit of a meme that I thought was really funny. Yeah. Ban assault cargo ships.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to do that. Define an assault cargo ship, I suppose.
Well, they can't define an assault weapon, can they? So
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon. Shall we talk about movies now?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't get a chance to talk about them last time.
Yeah, we want to make sure we get a couple in this time.
New movies that are coming out.
Yep.
What else we got here? All right. So the first movie, which I actually have not seen the preview, I know nothing about, and you brought it up with me. It's what is it?
It's a horror. It's called Baghead.
Baghead.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at it. I know nothing about it, so we're about to find out together.
My dad, he died.
I'm the solicitor of your father's estate.
My dad owned this place. I don't have any memories with him. This is all I have right now.
If you're watching that, then I'm already dead.
What's it about? Do you know?
No idea. I just know it's a horror.
Oh, okay. Because I just don't pick up a storyline at the moment, which is sadly, a common thing with trailers.
Oh, well, she's been left the pub by her dad who died. That's a storyline.
Okay.
And like every really good horror movie that has a videotape in it. If you're watching this, I'm already dead.
Yeah,
it's the same line in every. But anyway,
well, that's
I'm not
true
here to
too.
bag it. I want to watch it to the end and then I'll bag it.
Yeah, one of the things we have to do is we have to talk over the trailer occasionally because of a copyright situation. So we can't really play it right through without stopping it or commenting. So let's continue.
This property comes with a special tenant.
Barbarian.
You're the one thing that stands between her and the outside world.
You're joking. What is that? Come out, wherever you are. Iris. We shouldn't be here.
Is that a scarecrow?
I don't know. It felt a bit like it. Yeah, another cheesy.
Like the Batman scarecrow or something?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
It's a bit. You know, the best horror movies have an iconic killer.
Yeah.
You know, of course, you know, the ghost guy. A scary movie? Was it a scary movie? What was it?
Oh, the Scream.
Yeah, Scream. That's what I was thinking.
There's always.
Freddy Krueger and all those.
But there's also Hollywood always tries to invent a new one once in a while, which we, when they don't try to invent something new, we give them shit. And then when they do try to invent something new, we give them shit.
That's right. Yeah, we just like to give shit.
We just like to give them shit.
That's right.
So.
What is she?
She has the power to bring back the dead.
I want to see her. Money's really no object. I want to talk to my wife.
She only gives you 2 minutes. After that, she's in control.
What's going on?
Oh, Crawleys.
We are not safe here. How do I control her?
Did her head just spin around?
I think so. No. There was a crackling noise from the...
Yeah. I thought her neck cracked.
No.
This isn't something you can control.
I'm going to kill you.
You can't kill her. You cannot let her out of the basement.
I don't know. What do you think?
The title just clicked. Baghead.
He's got a baghead.
Yeah. Oh, I recognise some of the actors in there. It actually looks pretty good.
Looks all right for a horror. Yeah, it's got your typical cinematic scenes, like the falling with the camera with you.
Yeah, correct.
Blah blah blah.
Correct.
Usual stuff. But if you're a fan of, I wouldn't say stereotypical, but if you're a fan of your typical horror movie that just keeps you on the edge of your seat, but it just doesn't have to be anything too amazing, I reckon that's right in the ballpark. Yeah.
Full transparency. I cannot watch horror movies.
Really?
Seriously, I cannot watch horror movies. It's not the blood and gore. I can handle the blood and gore. I cannot handle the suspense.
Ah.
When they're leading up to a scene.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, like I've watched all the Saw movies.
Yeah.
I enjoyed them. But when there's like the music and it starts building up the scene, that terrifies me.
Really?
But if a head explodes, I don't care. Because I can watch Walking Dead and blood and gore. It's just how they build up the suspense.
Yeah.
I literally sit there with my fingers in my ears because I cannot handle the music and everything.
Yeah, wow.
I can't remember the last horror movie I watched. I watched the Saw movies probably 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
And apart from some of the Korean sci-fi, horror type things.
Yep.
The zombie ones I can handle for some reason because there are a lot of action in them. But this horror, dedicated horror stuff, I can't handle.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I like this sort of stuff.
Yeah,
so
I'm a weenie.
It's, even
my
if it's a bit
loves
cheesy.
It.
Yeah, even if it's a bit cheesy, I still love it.
Yeah.
I liked movies like, going right back to things like Salem's Lot, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm more of that sort of, supernatural, spiritual, you know, religious, witches, you know, all that sort of crazy stuff. I love all that sort of stuff.
I watched the TV version back in, I think it was the 70s, late early 80s, and the only scene I remember is when the vampire's floating outside the window, and he's calling, I think it was the young girl, and he just, you know, it was a TV series, so it wasn't any blood and gore, if I remember right.
Yeah.
But that's the only scene I remember. So.
Well, the scene that I remember from Salem's Lot, because it had David Soul in it.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
From Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah.
And there was a scene where the vampire's asleep and he sneaks into the room and he's about to stab him. The vampire wakes up. And I remember, I would have only been a kid because it was the 70s, and I reckon I jumped about 8 foot in the air, I reckon.
Is that when he just kind of sat up?
I think he sat up or he jumped up sort of thing as he was about to stab him.
And he looked like Nosferatu?
Yeah, Nosferatu, yeah.
Little memories are coming back. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that scene was, he just sat up, really straight up. Just
Well, as a kid, I absolutely packed my dax.
You're going to bring my trauma back?
Yeah, PTSD.
Yeah, I'm going to need therapy.
Yeah.
All right, and we've got one more movie to have a quick look at, which is due out fairly soon, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Yeah.
I hate reading things. Now, I have seen little bits and pieces of this. I haven't seen the trailer. It looks really good.
I've seen nothing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but someone said to me that if you liked Inglourious Bastards, you'll love this. So
it looks like that.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
I loved that. So.
Looks like it's got a lot of comedy in it.
Okay.
I think John Cena's in it. Is he?
I don't know. I know nothing. I know nothing but the title.
This is John Cena, but Superman's in it.
Okay.
So it's not actually Superman, but you'll see. All right, let's have a look at this.
When do we go?
0200. Take towers first, then move on to the radio room, barracks, and end up in the control room. What do we have here? Gestapo.
How'd you know?
Badder they are, the better they're dressed. Really must get me one of those coats.
They must be here for Apple. It's either torture or extraction, sir.
If they extract him, that'll be the end of Apple. We won't be seeing him again. I'm afraid, gentlemen, we're not going to have the luxury of night. We're going to have to go in now.
Was magst du hier? Halt! Stehen geblieben!
So what's happened there, then?
It looks like they've been plugged full of arrows, Hazy.
Well, where'd the arrows go? Straight through them. Noah.
Oh, it's
all around the other side. Where are they now? Same place as these two. Nazi heaven.
That was actually, it wasn't a trailer, it was the clip from it.
Oh, right.
Jack Reacher.
Yeah, that's a great series.
Yeah, brilliant.
I can't think of his
One
name.
of my favourites.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely. That looks good, but it wasn't a trailer, it was a quick clip.
Have we got a trailer?
Yeah, just give me a sec, see what I can actually find. Oh, there you go. How easy is that? Found it. Now, I think the trailer's a little bit longer. How long does it go for? 2 minutes? This is the official trailer. Let's hope you don't. Oh, just give me a sec to realign. And let's go check it out. Oh, it's Guy Ritchie. I didn't know that.
Gus March Phillips, I have a mission I want you to lead. Thank you, Sergeant.
What's the plan?
To neutralize the German U-boats in the North Atlantic.
We're losing the war. Hitler is not playing by the rules, so neither are we.
We both know that I'm not very popular with the administration.
The reason they find you unattractive is the very reason I find you attractive.
I don't even know what that means. Attractive.
He's just saying attractive.
I find it really weird seeing him, because all the movies I've seen him in have been American, and he's got a Pommy accent, and he's an actual Pom.
Yeah.
So it's really weird for me to see him with a Pommy accent. Yeah, weird.
If I'm to do this, I'll need my own team. You won't like them. They're all mad.
They'll need to be.
This is an unsanctioned, unauthorized mission. If we fail, England will be condemned to a lifetime under the German boot.
And so I said, that is not a dog, that is my wife!
It's very good.
I can see the reference to Inglourious Bastards. It feels so much like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, it looks really good.
You and your operation are reckless.
Abort this mission now. Hello, can't hear you. Please do off.
How good is Henry?
That looks great. Oh, he's very
Looks
versatile,
so good.
isn't he?
Yeah.
Very versatile. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame they stopped him from being Superman again, but it is what
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, I love it. It looks really, really good.
Yeah.
It just says coming soon. When's it due?
Yeah, no idea.
Yeah, it was sometime later this year.
Mm.
But that's one to look out for. I
Yeah.
think it'll be a lot of fun, a lot of blood and guts.
Mhm.
Yeah, Alan Richards.
Yeah, from Jack Reacher.
Yeah, that's right. Just trying to remember his surname.
He's
He's actually
a mountain of a man.
He is. He's huge. He was in a couple of the DC TV series.
Okay.
What was it? I forget it. With Robin. Robin was in it, and he's actually a Christian conservative.
Oh.
So I'm really surprised he's getting any work.
Tides are turning.
Yeah, because his faith is really, really high up there.
Yeah,
So-
right.
Anyway, so that's our show.
Yeah,
I
there
hope
you
you
go.
enjoyed it.
Yeah,
we
great
digressed a bit as usual. We talked
Yeah,
about a whole
yeah.
bunch of other things. Thank you very much for sticking
Bit
around
of
to
fun.
the end. If you
Yeah.
haven't subscribed, please press that subscription button. Like it, share it. We would love your appreciation. And again, thank you very much for sticking around right to the end. So it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye.
Goodbye from Pinky.
Ciao.